guys, KFARR back again once again. So this is about an hour and a half after my live stream for Booze and Body Cam, and I was about to head off to bed, about to jump in the shower, was on my phone, and I said, I'll give YouTube a quick refresh to see what happened, and then sure as shit, great news for me. Who but Kim Blandino was in court 4 hours ago. This is just a motions hearing to give back his property from his last two convictions, and the prosecutor said no. So they're arguing about that. It's nothing serious, nothing crazy, but both the prosecutor and the defense attorney say some hilarious shit. So we're going to play this, so without further ado, I give you Kim Blandino.
Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Mr. Blandino, Your Honor.
Is Mr. Dickerson here? Mr. Dickerson said he can be here 15 to 20 minutes. Okay. Sorry. As soon as I see him come in, I'll call it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, page 14. State of Nevada versus Blandino. Case C341767. He's present. He's at liberty. Do you all want to make your appearances?
Mike Dickerson on behalf of the state, Your Honor.
Morning, Your Honor. Joseph Gersten, 13876 for Mr. Blandino.
Some of this stuff had to do with the traffic stop, correct?
My understanding, Your Honor, it was the two passports that were, but if you remember, they had actually been, I was just trying to be, make it easy. Instead of filing a motion here and then filing a motion in the justice court for those, because they had been here. I know that Mr. Blandino has brought a copy of the order that I had sent to you down to the vault, and they said that was fine. They'd be okay with that particular order. So that's as much as I can tell you as far as that's concerned.
Okay. But everything else was from the underlying.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Okay.
Exactly. And just very simply, Your Honor, I mean, Mr. Blandino has completed everything. As honest as I can be, Your Honor, Mr. Blandino is a pain in the butt. We all know that. But this is his property. He's completed his probation. He was honorably discharged. His property should come back to him.
Well, why is the state hanging on to it?
Did you see our opposition we filed this?
I did.
Okay, so the main reason is that for the overarching reason for all the evidence is that the defendant is consistently making attacks on the convictions that have been had in both cases, right? And so as a result, we need to preserve that evidence should there ever be a retrial. I included in there a posting from last month where he indicates his next steps and what he's filing. As a result, we do have to preserve the evidence. There's no way to give it back to him and ensure that we have legitimate access and that it's preserved. This doesn't exist here, though that exists in statute as an option. Further, the whole question here under this provision of the statute for return of property, we're not talking about any of the sections that are dealing with an illegal seizure because everything was legal. It was all legally seized. When we look to those two fraudulent passports, we're seeing that those are two items that have been used in the courts of his criminal conduct. So having law enforcement retain possession of those is reasonable. That's it. That's the bottom line. It's a reasonable, under the reasonable analysis for this statute, that's the bottom line. Despite Mr. Blandino's laughter here, he's not the one that decides what's reasonable. We know what he's going to do when he gets those items back in his possession, exactly what he's done with them for the last 20 years, right? If you would recall, some of the evidence for those two fraudulent passports is that he was using them in the 1990s and had certified documents from the Boulder City Municipal Court that he'd actually used those, provided those to a city attorney, and had them fraudulently accepted as a driver's license. And then later on in the 2020s, is pulled over and using those again with law enforcement on the scene of a stop.
So to me, this sounds reasonable. To you guys, it probably seems reasonable. To the prosecutor, yeah, it probably seems reasonable. Michael Dickerson also, if you guys close your eyes and listen to Michael Dickerson talk, and you listen to the guy who runs Thoughts of a Police Officer and Columbus Area Body Cam, if you listen to them both talk with your eyes closed, you hear the same person. So I've never seen them in the same room together, so they might be the same person, but the defense attorney is going to make some of the dumbest arguments, and spoiler alert, he calls the fake fraudulent passports novelty after you just heard Michael Dickerson say Kim Blandino used those not only in the traffic stop, but in the 90s to get actual paperwork approved by the court?
But I mean, the desktop and stuff, what?
No, those are the passports, Your Honor.
Right, and I understand the opposition to that, but the computers, I guess I'm having a harder time. Is there evidence on there?
I apologize.
That's okay.
I didn't want to cut off Mr. Dickerson. First of all, that opposition was filed yesterday at 1:00. That is too late under the rules of this court. So I would ask you to strike that firstly and strike everything that Mr. Dickerson just said because it's not proper. That's number one. Number two, we keep talking about these passports. He was charged and the state dropped all charges against him regarding those passports. So to hold on to them when they themselves denied their ability to prosecute him, that doesn't, honestly, it doesn't pass the smell test.
We're still within the statute of limitations, I believe.
But, okay, so go and
And
see.
we also did use them as evidence. In the case, we did not drop all charges.
What? Of course you did.
Do
I'm
you
sorry.
want an opportunity to reply? I mean, I've read the state's opposition. If you want an opportunity to reply, I would give you that opportunity.
I mean, Your Honor, I honestly, like I said, he should get his property back. If you're really, mulling this over, yes, I would like an opportunity to reply. Not that I want to drag this out any longer than it's already been, but
I'm just concerned, what is on these computers and hard drive that would become, if we did attack the conviction, that would ever become relevant?
So
I
as
mean, I just can't.
part of, if you recall in the case that he'd been preparing documents and sending documents over as part of his extortion scheme. So his computers were used to do that.
All right, but the documents, you had the actual copies of them and they were introduced into evidence, right?
Right. And then forensic analysis of the computers goes deeper to show how they're prepared.
So why would the state still need the computers?
As their evidence in the case.
stop.
Were they, I mean, they weren't introduced. I mean, the documents were, but not the actual computers, right? I mean, I know there
believe
were
that's
photos.
I don't recall if we introduced some sort of forensic analysis of the computers or not. I don't recall as I stand here today.
Yeah, I do not believe the computers were introduced, Your Honor. And again, Mr. Blandino is actually really concerned about his novelty passports. And the issue being, as we said, state dropped all charges. What he wants to do is take those passports and properly give them to Mr. Marco Rubio at the State Department to try and get actual approval for them this time. So he wants to do it the right way this
He doesn't
time.
need these to do it the right way.
I'm sorry, Your Honor?
He doesn't need these to do it the right way.
Again, Your Honor,
Right.
as well, some of us may be on different planes here, Your Honor. As you recall, Mr. Blandino believes he is a citizen of the Kingdom of Israel and that his home is the embassy or something, consulate, sorry, of that country. And he wants to get recognition from the United States government, particularly Mr. Rubio, for those. And again, I just go back to they weren't evidence, and they were
Not in this case, but in the case where he was charged.
All right, guys, so I'm going to start glowing in just a second when I move my little Streamlabs thing over to my other monitor. So, one thing that pisses me off before we get into the Kingdom of Israel, which Prosecutor Dickerson's going to get into for like 3 seconds, they're not novelty if he used them as a passport at a traffic stop and used them at a court back in the 90s to get paperwork accepted into court. So you can't say they're novelty, like they're novelty fake money that I keep around the house to like give the kids when they do chores. It's not novelty if he actually uses it as if it's real. So we're going to jump to this. So he claims to be part of the Kingdom of Israel. Let me zoom in a tad bit here. So the Kingdom of Israel the United Monarchy of the Kingdom of Israel, 1047 through 930 BCE. Last I checked, that doesn't say 2025. And then the other one I found was the Kingdom of Israel, Samaria, 930 BCE to 720 BCE. I know Kim Blandino's a bit old, like just a bit. He's got some grays with his ascot, you know, you do what you do. But he ain't that old. And the Kingdom of Israel no longer exists. So where is this consulate that you're claiming to be part of? How are you going to get a valid passport from a place that doesn't exist? Israel's not going to give you a passport. So the Kingdom of Israel sure as shit isn't going to give you a passport either. More than likely what Kim Blandino is going to do is get those novelty passports and burn them, and then burn them again, and then soak them in a barrel to disintegrate them, and then throw that barrel into the ocean somewhere, where they're never to be found again. Like, he's not going to go send them to the government to get them approved because he knows damn well that they won't be. Do better, Kim Blandino's attorney.
Your Honor, I mean, they're not.
Tell me they weren't admitted into evidence.
Well, he's indicating
Tell
that
me that we
it's
didn't
still
litigate
within
all
the
this
statute
stuff
of
right now.
limitations as
Right,
well.
and you drop the charges. If you drop the
He was
charges,
convicted of 2 misdemeanors.
yeah, and the passports were felonious, according to Mr. Dickerson. He dropped the charges. If you drop the charges, what's the basis on being able to hold that evidence? They dropped them, and he's completed everything.
About the way that those items were evidence in that case. It's just a clear misrepresentation.
Say that again?
It's a clear
But
misrepresentation
what'd you say before that?
that those items were evidence in the other case.
Okay, because I
That's
thought
it.
they were, I
And
mean,
all
I
of this
saw copies
conversation
of them.
here about the argument about the Kingdom of Israel, which hasn't existed for about 900 years, all of that, it means nothing.
Well,
Because this all comes from arguments that were made in the justice court trial that went to whether the defendant had some exception or whether he was a citizen or a resident of Nevada or a citizen of the United States, whether he'd renounced his U.S. citizenship. All of that was at issue in that case, and those passports were part of that.
Okay,
But again, Your Honor, their novelty, the state dropped the charges. I still haven't heard any reason why the state should retain them. I mean, nothing. I have heard nothing. They were not charging them. They didn't charge him. And he's done everything he's asked of this court. You yourself gave him an honorable discharge.
What's
I don't
funny,
even
Your
think I have jurisdiction over those issues because that case wasn't in front of me. My concern is the computers. I mean, I haven't really heard anything for the state to hang on to the computers. 1 through 4. I mean, I'd be
Your Honor,
inclined to,
if that's where we are, I would ask you to, interlineate or cross out without permission the passports. I will file a motion in Justice Court 2 to try and get those back.
you sent the order over?
We did, Your Honor.
Okay.
We sent it to the inbox, but I may have another copy.
Yeah, but I don't, when you sent it to the inbox, I can't, alter it. I don't know, maybe Pam can, but, I mean, I'd be inclined to grant as to 1 through 4, the computers.
I will resend that, Your Honor.
Okay,
What I will do is however,
grant as to 1 through 4 and, deny 5 through 7. Because I don't know what miscellaneous legal documents are, I assuming those were in the vehicle. And so I think you'd have to be more, specific.
I have a copy of that. Okay, and I apologize, Your Honor. You're granting 1 through 4.
Right, I don't know what miscellaneous legal documents are. I assume it was paperwork in the vehicle,
Yes, Your Honor.
but if that's not the case, I just think you need to be more specific.
Thank you, Your Honor. So should I edit that order and resend it over?
Yeah, 1 through 4 is granted.
Great. Thank you, Your Honor.
You bet.
Much appreciated.
All right, guys, that's the video. I'm gonna go to bed now because I'm tired. It's 1:20 in the morning. Yeah. Anytime a Kim Blandino video will come across my feed, I'll make a video on it because I absolutely think Kim Blandino's a scumbag. The guy knows what he's doing is sideways at best, yet he keeps trying to do it. The defense attorney kept calling them, again, novelty passports. If they were so novelty, why is he trying to get them approved to be real passports? And why has he been using them as real passports? It doesn't make any sense to me. But he's also, he's doing his job by representing Kim Blandino and trying to bring some of the more less nonsensical arguments to the court, while also letting everyone in the court know that, like, these aren't his beliefs and that Kim Blandino's not on the same playing field as everyone else. He's off eating leaves in the grass. But that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Have a fantastic day.